What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Cookie DAO today. Cookie, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, you guys. It is the 13th day of June. Here we are at about 20 cents right now, 7 hours, 53 minutes left in the day. Finding support at prior areas of resistance here. Looking good. Really, we're looking good, man. I know that there's some stuff that happened in the world that are shaking up the markets, but I don't really want to talk about it too much because I don't think it's going to impact the markets any further or too much further than it already has. I do believe that we're going to recover and we're going to see a phenomenal amount of growth, right? Show me the charts and I'll tell you the news. That's why we don't really talk about the news too much. From a low to a high here, we went just below the 382. It's actually very common to wick below the 382 and close above it whenever you have your first interaction with it. And this is the first time we've interacted with the 382 throughout this whole range down. So that's nice to see. Good recovery. Very expected, very normal stuff, right? Oh, I wonder actually, where are we in regards to this fib from a low to a high? Hold on. Right there, just below the golden ratio. There's a lot of coins that look like this. Like I think Bitcoin even did that same thing right there, going just below its golden ratio, its relative golden ratio. Looking at the RSI, we do have lower lows in the RSI, lower lows in the price, nothing really going on there. The only thing I can say is that we're finding support at prior areas of support in the RSI where we found support before, support here, resistance right there even, something significant in this zone here around the 40, and reflected in the price. Also finding support in areas that we found resistance before, even found support in this area as well on a closing basis. Maybe not on a wicking basis, but yeah, it looks good in my opinion. As long as today can close green, as long as we can move out of here, and I think that we will, we'll probably see some growth, and Cookie will be back at new relative highs before you know it, man. I really do believe that we're on our way higher, but let's look at the 1 hour and the 4 hour and see if we can rationalize that a little bit more. 1 hour time frame here. Very volatile. Very, very volatile. Yeah. Bullish divergence at the bottom there. Higher lows, lower lows here. Bullish divergence. Moving up a little bit above average volume on that last hour there, but it's almost like you've had a fake out breakout of this range. So there is still a case where we could come down, maybe find a double bottom, maybe you go lower, right? If Bitcoin is to go lower, everything else will probably go lower. So don't get too excited, right? It's very possible that we could go down to 18 cents still, or even below there. I think 17 cents is the lowest that I would expect us to go to, right? Let's just see real quick. Hold on. Let's pretend that was the top, the relative high on this 1 hour time frame, and we're going to go below this low. 17.2 cents. Probably 17.2 cents at the lowest. That's what I would think, right? Decent volume here. I wouldn't call that a breakout yet. Let's just see what the coming hours provide, right? But the 1 hour time frame, the 1 hour RSI, bullish divergence, getting above the 50. You look set up to be bullish. You look set up to move up higher. Let's just see if you do. That's the real. I would say that you'd have to get above. You'd probably have to start closing prices above like 21 cents before I get too excited that this is the low, right? It very well could be the low. It's very, very possible, but before we get convinced, before we have conviction and confirmation, we need to get above 21 cents on an hourly closing basis or 4 hour closing basis. Any kind of higher time frame will do. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm tired, man. 4 hour time frame here. Looking at this, we got into the oversold zone. Yes, we did. Into it, out of it pretty quickly, but that's not enough. I wouldn't call that a rejection. I would call that getting into it. Sometimes and oftentimes enough with these kind of interactions, you will see a higher low in the RSI that reflects a lower low in the price. So again, it doesn't mean that we have to go below this low, but I wouldn't be surprised if we did get a 4 hour candle to close below that. And truthfully, I wouldn't even be that surprised if we did go below that low. It's very, very possible. I mean, we got close if we're looking at it on the daily time frame. We got very close to this. Let's see, from a low to a high to the 786 here. Maybe we do complete the thought and we go all the way down to 17.7 cents, 17.2 cents, whatever it is, something in that area. We find support. We get that bullish divergence on the 4 hour time frame, and then we start to rally afterwards, right? It doesn't have to be today. I wouldn't be surprised if we did see some kind of stagnation here, right? Maybe move up a little bit, maybe move down a little bit, whatever. You get your lower low, and then you start to move up. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened over the weekend. But it's also very possible that this is the low and that we start moving up. Again, to validate this low, I'd want to see prices closing above about 21 cents, and I want to see that happen consistently. Get above 21, probably even a little bit above 21 cents. Let's get above like these lows here. Get above 21.5 That is basically right there at 21 cents. So yeah, get above 21 cents on a 4-hour closing basis, multiple 4-hour closing bases, daily closing time frame, whatever. And I would very much be convinced that this is the low. I wonder, what about this from a low to a high here? That's kind of uncommon. Just below the 1414. That's actually more bullish than bearish. And then here, the 886 getting above there. Yeah, that 21 cent area, just above 21 cents, is a key point to consider. In certain aspects, maybe if you want to be more conservative, I would say 22.5 cents might even be more important. If you can get above 22.5 cents, that'd be very validating. So if you're not convinced by 21 cents, at least let 22.5 cents convince you that this is the low. Okay, you have reasons to be suspicious even if we're above 21 cents, I suppose. But 22.5 cents is the very is infallible, I guess. I don't know. It's something that you can't argue. Once we're above there, I would say that absolutely is the low. Looking at the daily time frame, zooming back out here, you can see that we've maintained our higher low, higher high structure. We're still very much clearly in an uptrend. Moments like this are meant to scare people, shake people out, make people think that they know something, right? If we're going here from this low and connecting the dots here, we've clearly broken out of this trend line, but we still have higher highs and higher lows, right? A lot of people look at something like this and they'll think, oh no, we've broken out of our uptrend. Now we're going down. We're in the beginning of a downtrend. No. We did not break out of our uptrend. We broke this trend line, which doesn't mean much, on the 1, 2, 3rd attempt, which happens all the time. We're still in an uptrend because we have a low here, a higher low, and a higher low. We have a high here, a higher high, and a higher high. We're still in an uptrend. Uptrends don't need to be parallel channels all the way up. You know what I mean? They don't need to follow a line. They just need to be higher lows and higher highs. That's what an uptrend is. And we're finding support, I think, at a very good area to find support. When we do move higher, and that's going to be any day now, I would assume next week is going to be glorious for all of crypto, the entirety of crypto as a whole. Look at that, and we bounce right off this 382. That's perfect. We didn't even hit the 382. We're just above it, right? Again, if we were to go a little bit lower, just a little bit below that low, I wouldn't be too surprised. But at the same time, it's very possible that is the low. I wouldn't hold out for it, right? If I was looking to buy Cookie and I didn't buy on this wick, I would just be getting in now. I would just FOMO in right now or just lay the hammer down, whatever you want to say. Maybe it's not FOMO here because we're not really moving up too much, right? That was this piece of hair. It's just sticking up. But I do believe that we're going to move up higher in a very short amount of time. Maybe not over the next couple of days, but over next week, I would think that we are going to see prices at about 50 cents to 63 cents, somewhere in this zone here. Get that higher high. We'll consolidate going into the beginning of July, and then we'll start to rally into new highs going into the end of July, expecting a price around $1.65 to $3.88. I'm thinking we stop somewhere around $2.34 or higher. That's the expectation that I have personally. But do accept that the possibility of stopping at $1.65 is there, right? We very well could stop there. It's possible. Some cryptos lately have been doing this thing where they go just above their 1272. They go just below their 1414. So anything and everything in between this zone is possible, just like anything and everything in between 234 and 388 is possible as well. My prediction is just that I think that we're going to go above this line, just above that line. That's my thoughts. But I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this. Thank you all. Weekly RSI looks fine. I think we look good, man. We really do look good. We just have a little bit of time until things rally, and I think that the coming weeks are going to be glorious. We got to be patient. Don't get shaken out. Don't let the media or world events scare you. We are in the most bullish part of the bull market. You will see. Time will tell, and it will tell good things. Bye-bye.